And that footage finally showed in real time what was happening. Not only what was happening, but where she and the kids had truly gone. The video captured Elleshia walking very calmly through the airport on November 30th, 2025. She had all 4 of her children with her. She had her luggage in her hands, and they were boarding a one-way international flight out of Salt Lake City with a stop in Amsterdam to Croatia, not France, as she had said on that voicemail. And here's the part that makes this situation at the airport even more serious, because obviously we know that the kids' dads didn't consent to them leaving the state, let alone leaving the country. So for Elleshia to get the kids' passports, to get 4 children on an international flight, all of these moves without the father's consent, that means that she would have needed to forge Kendall and Kurt's signatures on the passport paperwork. In other words, she went to great lengths to do this and would have had to commit a federal felony in the United States in order to make it happen. So with all of this new information, and now having proof that Elleshia and all 4 kids had left the country to Croatia, not France, Utah authorities issued an endangered and missing advisory for all 4 kids, officially classifying this as a parental abduction case. This was on December 10th, 2025. Now, this advisory had photos of all 4 kids, along with their names, ages, birthdays, and heights, and it also had a photo of Elleshia. And with Elleshia, just one word, kidnapper, in all capitals, big red letters right above her photo. Now, below her picture was her name, an alias that she goes by, her height, and just identifying details. Look, you've probably heard of an Amber Alert, but let me just explain. An endangered and missing advisory alert is a little bit different. It's a tool that Utah law enforcement uses when a child is considered missing and in danger, but the situation doesn't meet the strict criteria for an Amber Alert, often because information is limited or the criteria isn't fully met for one reason or another. So now, instead of flashing across highway signs and phones nationwide, these advisories really work through coordinated law enforcement. Also different media channels to try to get the word out, getting the word out to other departments, to news outlets, to the public, in just a little bit different of a way and less, instantaneous sort of way. Yet, I will say it has the same urgency. The advisory also opens the door for broader investigative support, including assistance from the FBI, which that's something that goes way beyond just a local welfare check or a routine missing persons file. And you have to think about that moment, right? Seeing as a father, as any parent, your children's faces on this advisory alert, seeing the word kidnapper above the mother who you once were married to, who you trusted with your children. It's so scary to think about, and every parent's absolute worst nightmare. Truly, it is. Now, in this case, the advisory was the point where everyone knew that the authorities weren't just concerned about Elleshia or are the kids okay, where are they, trying to locate them. This now meant that they were concerned that these kids were in real danger. But why? Because as far as anyone knew, until this point, Elleshia was just a normal mom from Utah. What could possibly drive her to take the kids out of the country without their father's consent? And the answer that kept coming up with this wasn't about custody disputes or financial troubles or retaliation or a secret plan to start over. It was something much, much bigger. Something, one could argue, almost biblical. And it is very reminiscent of Lori Vallow, also of Chad Daybell, of many people that we have talked about. But Elleshia believed that the world was ending. And not in a metaphorical, dramatic, or attention-seeking sort of way, but in a way that she genuinely believed and took seriously enough to uproot her whole life and to take her children, her life, everything halfway around the world.